Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Yoga Online with the CyFair Library. My name is Jane, CyFair librarian and yoga teacher, once again coming to you from my living room. So a couple announcements before class starts this evening. We have our summer schedule of online yoga classes set for the rest of the summer. We will be going every 2 weeks, so every other Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. With the exception of the first week of July. I had originally scheduled a class for Thursday, July 2nd. As it happens, the library's online services will be closed from July 2nd through July 5th for the 4th of July holiday. So that July 2nd class, we're actually going to move up a day to Wednesday, July 1st, also at 5:30 p.m. Stream's already set up, so just subscribe to our YouTube channel or head to cyflib.info/yoga for the latest stream. Tonight's class is going to be about balance. We'll be tackling some balance poses. So if you want to take a second to grab a chair or set up your mat next to a table or something you can grab on for balance next to you, please take a second to do that. And I would also just like to say that I would also like to dedicate the love and energy of this practice tonight to the Black Lives Matter movement and to Black Lives Matter demonstrators, everybody who's demonstrating for justice for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and so many. My heart and voice and donation dollars are with you. So love for you this evening. All right, let's get started. Come on over to your mat. Make sure to grab your chair if you do not already have it. And we're actually going to start off tonight with some breathing. We're going to do a breath called the alternate nostril breath, or Nadi Sodhana. So we're going to be sitting for a moment for that. So if you want to grab a cushion or if you want to fold up the back of your mat, please go ahead and do that so we can sit for a moment. I'm going to use my zafu. And the breath that we'll be starting with tonight, as I said, alternate nostril breath, is sort of based on this idea in yoga that our breath travels through our body in two channels that sort of crisscross the spine and come up. And sometimes those channels, we tend to favor one over the other, right? So this alternate nostril breathing is a great way to sort of bring those airwaves back in balance. And it's a great way to kick off a balance class this evening. So come to a comfortable sit. Set your seat so that you're sitting tall, pulling the waist out of the hips, pulling the rib cage out of the waist, and the gaze is straight ahead. You can leave your eyes open as we sort of explain what's going on and then close them once we start to get into the breath. So what we're going to be doing is inhaling and exhaling through one nostril at a time. So to start this breath, bring your hand into Star Trek fingers. And if you don't know what Star Trek fingers is, don't worry about it. We're going to bring our thumb to our right nostril. We're going to bring our pinky and ring finger to our left nostril. The second and third fingers can be resting right here in the space between your eyebrows, or you can sort of tuck them under. It's up to you and what you want to do. So first start by taking a really deep inhale through both nostrils. Don't close anything down. And then as you exhale, close the right nostril with the thumb and exhale through the left side. Inhale through the left side. Close the left side and exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. If you want to go ahead and close the eyes now, go for it. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. A few more rounds. Inhale through the left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. One more complete round. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Release your hand back down to your knee or your lap. Just take a second to breathe normally without controlling or forcing the breath. Seeing if you notice any balance or opening in your breath after that balancing breath work. Okay. And then bringing your palms together in front of your heart, bow your head, drop your hands, blink your eyes open, and come back center. Nice. Okay. So if you were sitting on a cushion, go ahead and remove your cushion. If you were sitting on your rolled up mat, you can stay sitting on your rolled up mat because we're going to be seated for another few moments. So go ahead and bend the knees, feet are on the mat. We're going to start out with something called toe yoga that I have done in a class with a yoga teacher named Amy Apparatus before. And it's a really lovely way to kind of focus on the tension on our feet and start to warm up from the ground up. It's so, our feet are so important in balance postures. So this is a great way to kind of show them some love before we start balancing. So go ahead and let the left leg be long and just bend the right ankle on top of that left leg. And we're going to start by taking our fingers wide. And this is going to feel weird, I know. But go ahead and interlace the fingers between the toes and really like scrunch them down there so that the webbing in your fingers meets the webbing in the toes. It does feel weird, but we're all alone in our living room, so it's okay. All right. So once you have that, take a second to spread the fingers wide so the toes spread wide. And then just go ahead and move the ankle back and forth. So you're flexing and pointing the foot while holding onto the toes. Then once more, let the fingers go wide and then circle the ankle all the way in one direction and in the other direction. Take the thumb from that left hand and dig it into right underneath the ball of your foot. So kind of like right there. And start giving yourself a little massage with that left thumb. And then you can take the right hand and start massaging the top and bottom of the left foot. So letting both hands get in on the nice massaging action. Giving the feet some love. All right, once more, spread the fingers wide and then release your foot and send it out next to the left foot. And see if you notice any difference between how wide your toes can spread. For me, that those right toes feel a lot more open and fan-like. Let's grab the other side. Bending the left knee on top of the right thigh, spreading the fingertips wide and nestling them into the toes like you're giving the toes a handshake weirdly. Spread the fingers wide and then flex and point that foot. Spread the fingers wide and then resettle them in the toes and go ahead and circle the ankle in one direction. And circle the ankle in the other direction. Take the thumb from that right hand, dig it into the ball of the foot and go ahead and start massaging. And then you can take the left hand and also start massaging that right foot. When I first started planning this class, I had the alternate nostril breathing kind of towards the end of class. And I realized, you know what, we should probably start with the hand on our face before we start like touching our feet and everything else. So you're welcome. All right, one more time, spread those fingertips wide so the toes spread wide, and then go ahead and compare the toes and see if they're spreading nice and wide. Nice. All right, go ahead and bend the knees so that the feet come to the mat. And this is one that I have a lot of trouble with. I always need to use my hands for this. But we're going to try and lift just the big toes off the mat. And if you have trouble with that, take your hands like me and physically hold down all the other toes, so just your big toes lift. And then set the big toes down, all the other toes lift. Okay, 2 more. Big toes lift. It's okay to use your hands to help. And then big toes down, all the other toes up. Last time, big toes up. And last time, all the other toes up. Okay. Go ahead and lift all 10 toes off the mat, and then see if you can fan them down from the outside in. So we're putting down 1 toe at a time until the big toe comes down last. Try that a couple more times. And then switch all the toes up and try and put the big toes down first, and then all the other toes. Really working these little kind of muscles and balancing in our feet is really going to help us out with our standing balance poses later. Beautiful. All right. Release the hands if they were on your feet. Last little bit of toe yoga. We're going to give our calves a nice massage. So again, warming from the feet up. So just take your hands and take your thumbs and put them at the top of your right calf and just start to massage down the calf. Really paying our body some love and attention this evening. Do one more time down the calf. And then switch. Bring the thumbs behind at the very top of the left calf. And just start to massage down. If you find a tender spot, feel free to spend some time on that spot, showing it some love. Maybe one more time, massaging down. All right, toe yoga. Go ahead and lie all the way down on your back. We're going to start to warm into the hamstrings and the quads, again, warming from the ground up. So come all the way down onto your back. Bend and hug the knees into the chest. And then go ahead and send the left leg long and keep the right knee bent into the chest. And with your hands, just move that right knee in circles, right? Warming up the thigh bone and the hip socket. And then reverse the direction of your circles. And come to stillness. Go ahead and stretch that right leg all the way up to the ceiling. If you want a little extra stability, feel free to hang on to that right thigh, but it's up to you. And just point and flex that right foot a few times. So toes point up to the ceiling, toes point down towards your face. A couple of times. Then maybe circle the ankle in one direction and in the other direction. Bring the arms out to a T, and then bring this left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale where you are. And on your exhale, drop that right leg to the left, maybe about 10, 15 degrees, so that right foot isn't traveling past the line of your mat. And then bring it back to center. Bend that right knee. Replace the left arm out to the side. Inhale where you are, and then exhale, bring the right hand to the outside of the right thigh or calf, and just open up that right knee out to the side. So if you're like me, your hips probably aren't super warmed up right now, that knee is not coming anywhere close to the floor, don't worry about it. Just starting to open up. Then on your next inhale, bring that knee back to center. Hug the left knee into the chest. And we'll switch sides. Send the right leg out long. And then same thing on this side. Go ahead and start to move that left knee in circles. And switch the direction of your circle. Extend the left leg up to the sky and point and flex the toes a few times. Maybe take a second to notice if there's any difference between one side and the other. Maybe one side's a little bit more open. Good, and then circle the ankle in one direction and the other direction. Bring the arms out to a T. Right hand to the outside of that left thigh. Inhale where you are. And then on your exhale, drop the left leg over to the right, but not so far that it goes beyond the side of your mat, just a little bit. Inhale that leg back up. Bend it. Arms back out to a T. Left hand to the outside of the left thigh. Inhale where you are. And then exhale, open up that left knee to the left. Maybe one side can go a little further than the other, right? Our sides are different every day. Now, this is going to come back. We're actually going to be doing this as a standing balance pose in a little bit. So inhale, bring that back in. Hug the right knee to meet the left. Just go ahead and rock like a ball, massaging out that low back. Now we're going to make our way into tabletop on hands and knees. So however you want to get there is fine. If you want to roll over onto one side and just bring yourself up to the mat that way, that's great. If you want to be fancy and roll up and then cross over your legs, you can do that too. But let's take a tabletop position. All squared up, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, fingertips spread wide. On your inhale, drop your belly, look up for cow pose. And on your exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, cat pose. A few more. Inhale, drop the belly, look up, collarbone wide. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, pulling the navel to the spine. A couple more. Inhale into cat. Exhale into cat. One more. Exhale, cat. And then just come back to a neutral spine. Maybe sit back on your heels for a second to watch me demonstrate this next thing. So we're going to do just a little bit of core work, right? So much of our balance strength comes from our core strength. So we'll do a little bit of core. So you have options here. So your first option is to start in child's pose, sitting back on your heels with your hands out long and your forehead down on the mat. You can, so on your inhale, you're going to come up to that tabletop hands and knees position. And on your exhale, you'll sink back down to child's pose. So that's option one. Okay, now we're going to have a little leg option in that. So if you're taking that child's pose to tabletop, when the leg option comes, you can stretch that one leg back, bring the knee off the mat. You can stay there, or you can lift it and then crunch that knee in. Okay, so that's option one. Child's pose, tabletop, lifting the leg and crunching it in, or just leaving it down. Option two is to come into a downward facing dog. On your inhale, come forward to plank and exhale back. The leg lift option on that one is going to be raising the leg, heel to the sky, and then exhaling, bending the knee into the chest like you could kiss your knee, and then placing it back. So we're going to do three, backwards, forwards, and then one on each side of the leg. So make your decision right now. Child's pose to tabletop or downward facing dog to plank. I'm going to go ahead and take that option. So So get into your child's pose or your downward facing dog, wherever you've chosen to be. Inhale where you are, and then exhale to plank your tabletop. Inhale back, downward facing dog or child's pose. Exhale, come forward. Inhale back. Last time, exhale to plank or to tabletop. Inhale back, and now we're going to do those leg lifts. So inhale, left leg lifts, heel drives towards the ceiling, and then bend that knee, bring it in towards the chest, and set that leg back. So you're back and downward facing dog or your tabletop. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, crunch that right knee into the center. And then set that right foot back down. Everybody, knees down. Everybody sink back into child's pose. And when you get there, with your forehead on the mat, you can just move the head back and forth, giving your forehead a nice little rest. Then come to stillness. And go ahead and just come up for a second to sit back on your heels. And if that doesn't feel good to be in this kneeling position, you can always just come to a sit with this. I'm just going to do some wrist and neck stretches before we move on into our standing poses. So go ahead and circle the wrists in one direction. And in the other direction. Right hand out like you're telling someone to stop. Gently pull the fingertips back. Exhale, fingertips down. Gently pull them back in towards you. And last one, palm faces up. Gently pull the fingertips back in. Release, we'll take the other side. Left hand out. Gently pull the fingertips back. Fingertips down, gently pull them back in. And last one, palm faces up. Gently pull the fingertips back towards you. Release and bring the hands by your side. Go ahead and drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And go ahead and press out through that left hand. So you're giving yourself a little bit more stretch as you're stretching the left hand down towards the mat. And inhale, come on up, release. And drop the left ear to the left shoulder, pressing out through the right palm. And release. Very nice. If you were moved to a sitting position, go ahead and move yourself back to child's pose. You were kneeling. You're fine where you are. And go ahead and look forward at your hand. And then tuck the toes, lift the knees and the hips up and back to downward facing dog. So hands are rooting down and forward. We're pressing down through the thumb and index finger. Shoulders are away from the ears, neck is nice and long. And hips are lifting up and back. Heels are driving down towards the mat. If you want, you can bend one knee at a time, warming into the hamstrings. And then two straight legs. Slowly walk the feet towards your hands. When you get there, grab opposite elbow, really bend the knees as much as you like. Just gently sway, letting the head and neck release. Maybe even take a second here to nod the head yes. And shake the head no. And then release the elbows if you had clasped them. And gently taking your time, rolling yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last, shoulders roll back. All right. We're actually going to spend a moment in mountain pose as our first standing balance posture. So go ahead and take your stance. Mountain pose feet can be about hips width apart. If you're not sure how to judge that, you can take your two fists and bring them down beneath your feet, and that's kind of like the right distance for your feet. Or feet can be closer together, whatever feels best in your skeleton. But take a second, look down at your toes, and I want you to try and lift all 10 toes off the mat and feel the four corners of your feet rooting down. So the point underneath the ball of the big toe, underneath the ball of the little toe, and the two back corners of our heels. Those are the four corners of our feet. So really feel yourself rooting down, and then you can go ahead and put the toes back down. Engage the calves and the thighs so that the legs are active. Tailbone is tucked, and hands can rest at our sides or in a prayer position in front of our heart. Gaze is straight ahead. Mountain pose. On your next exhale, release the hands. And let's just take a couple of shoulder stretches before we really get into our flow. So bring your hands out, palms facing up, and then bend the elbows so that the fingertips come to your shoulders. You're making like a YMCA M. And just circle the elbows forward. And then circle the elbows back. Ooh, this is where I feel my snap, crackle, pops. Good, and release. Okay, so our last shoulder stretch, we're gonna do the arms of eagle balance, which is gonna be sort of like our peak pose for this evening. We're just gonna do the arms first so that later when we do the pose, it's one last thing to learn. So bring your arms out in front of you, palms facing each other, about shoulder width apart. Bend the elbows, and then bring the left elbow on top of the right elbow. And if you can, wrap the forearms around each other so that the palms are touching. And if you're like, no, that's not going to happen, palms don't have to touch. Instead of wrapping around each other, the backs of the hands can touch. If that still doesn't feel great in your shoulders, go ahead and just straighten that left arm and hug it in with the right? So it's all kind of the same stretch. So whatever you're doing, go ahead and move the shoulder blades down the back, shoulders away from your ears. And if you can, try and push your elbows out away from you and up a little bit. Just get a little bit more stretch. And breathe. On your next exhale, release the arms. Maybe just cross them across your body a couple times to shake that out. And we'll go ahead and take the other side. So palms facing each other, arms out. Bend the elbows. This time right elbow on top of left. And your options are to wrap so that palms touch, not wrap so that backs of the hands touch, or just to have that right arm straight and hugged in your choice. Whatever you're doing, try and keep the shoulders away from the ears. Eagle arms. Ooh, and on your next exhale, go ahead and release those arms. And come on up to the top of your mat. We're going to start our standing flow. And like usual, we'll start out with a few half salutations just to link breath with movement. So take your mountain pose at the top of your mat, getting really tall and strong, feeling the feet rooting into the earth. And exhale everything. And now inhale, arms rise straight up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forward. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, refold, bending the knees as much as we like. And inhale, pressing the feet into the earth to rise all the way to a stand. Arms reach. Exhale, arms return. Again, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift halfway, flat back, look up, see me. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, arms return. Okay, we're going to turn this next one into something. So when you're ready, reset your mountain pose. Exhale everything. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands down, fold. Inhale, hands to the shins, look up halfway. Exhale, hands return to either side of the feet. Step one foot, and then the other foot, hands plant. We're going straight back to downward facing dog. Just a breath or two here. Deep inhale. Exhale, look forward at your hands and start to walk your feet towards your hands. When they get there, inhale, hands to the shins, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise all the way to a stand. Exhale, hands return. Nice. Okay, so we're going to move into our first balance pose for the evening, which is tree. So if you have your chair and you want to use it, go ahead and grab your chair and you can bring it sort of to the left side of your mat. Yeah, bring it to the left side of your mat. If you don't need the chair, don't worry about it. Your call. You'll have plenty of chance to grab one. So take a second. Set your feet really firm into the earth, right? Again, maybe lift all 10 toes off the mat to make sure your four corners of your feet are pressing into the earth. And then I want you to lift the right heel and turn the hip so that the right knee is pointing out to the right. And now, you have a few options for tree. You do not have to pick your right foot up off the floor. You can just rest your right foot on your ankle, right? That's totally a great way to practice this pose. Or if you want a little bit more balance challenge, you can bring the sole of the right foot to the calf. If you want even more, you can use your hand to bring it to the inside of your thigh. Right? Basically, the only point you don't want your foot to be is on the knee, because that's going to send your knee joint out of alignment. Okay, so we're off of our heel, knees pointing out to the right, and we're choosing our foot position. Ankle, calf, thigh. Now, if you want to grab onto your chair right here, hopefully you have that. All right. It also helps. Look at something in front of you and pick one spot to look at as you balance here. So hands can do a lot of things. Hands can hold on to a chair with the other one on the hip. Both hands can be on the hips. We can bring both hands together in front of our chest. Or if we want a little bit more challenge, we can raise our arms and grow our branches, as they call it in tree. Make sure if you're doing that, you're focusing on that one spot that's not moving. So maybe don't focus on me. And then if you want even more of a challenge, this is a really lovely variation of tree that I love. You can bring your right hand on top of your right thigh, palm facing up. And then extend your left arm a little bit taller, and then maybe side stretch over to the right a little bit. So you're sort of like a swaying tree. Good. And breathing. We'll be here for a couple more beats. Now, if what just happened to me happens to you, if you lose your balance, totally fine. Just come back into it the way that you came into it, right? So don't go straight up, but turn your leg out and then come on up. So we'll be spending a little bit of time so that if you do wobble out, you can come on back into it. Just a couple more breaths here before we take the other side. And then coming out the way we came in, turn the right hip back center and then lower the leg, shake out that left leg. All right, we're gonna take the other side so you can move your chair over to the other side of your mat. If you were regretting your decision not to go get a chair, go grab a chair. We'll take the other side, we'll be here. So let's take tree on the other side, reset your mountain pose for a moment, and then lift that left heel, turn the left hip out so that left knee points off to the left, and choose where you would like your leg to rest. The ankle, the calf, or maybe pull it up into the thigh. And if you're at the thigh, think about pressing your foot into your thigh and your thigh pressing into your foot. So both pieces are sort of hugging into this midline of your body. Once you have your legs set, make sure you have something to focus on. Choose where you want your hands to be. Hands on hips or on our balance friend. Maybe your hands are in prayer position. Maybe if we want even a little bit more of a challenge, we can lift our arms and spread our fingers wide in tree pose. And then for even more of a challenge, you might want to bring your hand palm up, your left hand palm up on your left thigh. Extend the right arm up taller, and then side stretch over to the left a little bit. So our right ribs are feeling really broad and spacious like a fan. Another couple breaths or two. So if you wobble out, you have time to come back into it. Good. And exhale, come on out. Good. Shake out that right leg. Good, good, good. All right, we'll shake it out with a little bit of flow between each vinyasa, between each balance pose. So take your mountain pose, top of the mat, hands by your side. Exhale everything. And then inhale, arms rise. Exhale, bend the knees, fold forward. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands plant. Once again, stepping straight back into downward facing dog. So hands shoulder width apart, feet hips width apart. A breath or two here. And then we're going to come down onto our belly. So if you want to move into a plank and then bring yourself down, come on down to the mat that way. Otherwise, bring both knees down to the mat and then go ahead and roll down the thighs and the hips and the belly and the chest all the way to the mat. Reset yourself so that hands are resting underneath your shoulders. Tops of the feet are pressing into the earth. Really hug those elbows into your rib cage. And on your next inhale, press the hands and the tops of the feet into the earth to help you peel the chest up, cobra pose. Good. Exhale back down. Press back onto your knees. And then once more, tuck the toes, lift the knees and the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Always resetting your feet if you need to. Deep inhale. And then exhale, slowly walk the feet forwards towards your hands. When you get there, hands to the shins. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, refold. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale down. Good. Just checking my timing here, making sure we're still kind of on schedule. Cool. We should be good. All right. So that one of the first leg warm-ups that we did, we're going to do that as a standing balance. So if you want your chair, bring it over to the left side of your mat. Take your mountain pose. Hands can rest on hips or one hand on your hip, one hand on your balance chair. And I want you to put as much weight as possible into your left foot right now. And then all we're going to do is raise that right foot off the ground, the knee bent. Now, if you are super flexible and you want a balanced challenge, you can grab the right toes with your peace sign fingers and stretch the leg out. That's up to you. Or just leave it bent. One more deep inhale here. And on your exhale, open up that right knee out to the right. So this is what we did lying down, right? Again, if you have that balance and that strength, you can grab the big toe and bring the leg out to the side. You can do it that way, your choice. Know that that might affect your balance though. Good. And then when you're ready, bring that right leg back to the center and bring it back down to the mat and just take a couple barrel rolls of the hips in one direction and then the other direction to shake that out. We're going to grab the other side so you can bring the chair over to the right side of your mat. Get your balance set. Hands can be on hips or in front of your chest or resting on your chair. Put a ton of weight into your right foot and then go ahead and with that knee bent, lift the left leg. Making sure that you're still looking at your fixed point for balancing. You want reaching down to grab the toe and stretching out, seeing if one side's different than the other. Deep inhale. And then on your exhale, open up that left knee and hip to the left. Right? If you've ever seen those, talking and I lost my balance. If you've ever seen those Captain Morgan commercials, this is kind of like the pose that they do in this. So if it makes it more fun for you to think that you're Captain Morgan, go for it. Please don't sue us, Captain Morgan. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, bring the knee back to center. Replace the foot down. And then once more, barrel roll it out with the hips. Okay, so hips are hip distance, or feet are hip distance or a little bit further away. Or just rolling the hips in one direction and roll them in the other direction. Right, so the idea is like if you're standing in a barrel, there's a sponge around your hips and you're cleaning the inside of the barrel with that sponge. It's a weird image, but you know. All right, come to stillness. Keep your chair handy. Keep your chair handy. All right, so we're going to transition into our last balance pose of the evening. Take your mountain pose. We're going to take a half salutation to get in there. Exhale everything. And then inhale, arms will rise. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, hands to the shins, lift halfway. Exhale, bend the knees like you're sitting back into a chair and lift the arms around your ears. I lied, this is kind of like our second to last balance. So chair pose. So really bend those knees, make sure that the hips are sinking back and they're even with each other. I want you to be able to look down and see your toes, right? So knees should not really be past the toes. We should still be able to see the tips of our little toes here. Okay, inhale where you are. Exhale, release and come to a stand. I know, I hate chair pose too, but it was really good to help us out in this, I promise, last balance we're going into. Okay, so our last balance of the evening is eagle pose. We did the arms earlier. We're going to add the legs onto it. And then we'll have one last little vinyasa flow with an optional bit of tricky business to practice eagle again. But that will be totally up to you. Choose your own adventure, right? So to practice eagle, We'll do the arms in a second. Let's just do the legs for right now. So feet are about hips width apart. Kind of bend the knees just a little bit, just so that your knees and your hips feel like soft a little bit. Oops, sorry. If you want your chair, you can bring it over onto your left side. Okay. So again, put a ton of weight to bend the right ankle on top of the left thigh. So you're sort of making like a figure four with your legs. The full expression of this pose, though, is to fully cross that right leg over the left leg and really wrap that right foot around the left calf. So again, you want to think like your legs are all hugging into the midline of your body. Okay, go ahead and release that for a second. We'll try that again, and then we'll add the arms into it. Okay. Whew. All right, so take your foot position. Make sure you have something handy for balance if you want it. Go ahead and soften into the knees and the hips. Just let them kind of be loose. And then take your leg position. Stay where you are. Cross the right ankle on top, or cross that right leg all the way over and wrap the right leg around the left calf. And now let's add in the arms. So, hands out, elbows bend, palms face each other. Left elbow on top, okay? So whatever leg you have on top, it's the opposite arm on top. Okay, good. And then if you can, think about sinking down deeper, the way we sink down deeper into our chair pose, eagle pose. Good. One more deep breath. And on your exhale, go ahead and unravel everything. Shake out that left leg. And then let's take the other side. So move your chair to your right side if you need it. Right, yeah. Feet hips width apart. Soften into the knees and the hips. You know your leg choices now, so go ahead and figure out which leg choice you want to make. I'm going to put as much weight as I can into my right foot and lift up that left leg and wrap it around the right leg. Okay. Arm position, hands out, palms face each other. Bend the elbows. Right elbow on top of left elbow. A lot of directions for this one. And breathe. Same thing, if you wobble out of it, you have time to come back in. One last deep breath, and then go ahead and unravel everything. Take out that right leg. Now, if you just thought to yourself, but Jane, I want to try eagle again. It was so fun. You have one last chance to practice eagle. So we're going to have one last little flow, and then we're going to bring it all down to the mat and stretch it out and have a nice long shavasana. Go ahead and set your mountain pose. And once more, maybe just for a second, close your eyes and just check in with your balance here. Maybe keep those eyes closed, lift all 10 toes off the mat. Do you still feel your balance? And then pile them back down. Okay. Open up the eyes. Hands by the sides, mountain pose. Exhale everything. Now inhale, arms rise. Exhale. Fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, right foot stays where it is. Left foot takes a big step back. Left knee comes to the mat. Left toes flip. Okay, so here are our options. Option one is to rest both hands on top of that right knee and staying into that right knee, getting a nice stretch on the front of the left hip. Okay, so that's option one. Option two is to take eagle arms here. So I know it's going to seem like the wrong arm is on top, but trust me. Bend the elbows, palms face each other, bring the right elbow on top. So this is option two. You can stay in this pose with eagle arms. If you're feeling super strong and balanced and like you have some gas left in the tank, I want you to try something like this. Flip the back toes, come off the back knee, Okay, so front knee is bent, so we're here in a crescent pose. Now, we're going to transition from here to eagle. So put a ton of weight into that front foot. Make that back foot really light. And then if you can, step off the back foot, whoops, lift that left knee, and then cross it over the right leg and sink into your eagle from here. Tricky. Okay, now we're going to keep the arms as they are. We're just going to unravel the leg and see if you can step it back into that lunge and then bring that back knee down. And I want everybody to release their arms, hands either side of your front foot. Bring the front knee back to meet the back one and sink down into a child's pose. Good. When you're ready, come up to tabletop. Yes, we're going to do the other side. So bring this left foot in between the hands. Right knee is down on the mat. Top of the right foot is down on the mat. And again, we have options. Option one, hang out here with both hands on top of the left knee. Option two is to come into eagle arms. Elbows bent, palms face each other, left arm on top. Option three, come off the back knee. Put all that weight into your front foot. And if you can, in one movement, try and step up, lift the right knee, and then cross it over that left leg, sink into your eagle from here. Good. If you were an eagle, slowly start to unravel. Send that right leg back. Here we are in that crescent lunge. Gently bring the back knee back, flip the toes. Everybody, if you have eagle arms, go ahead and unravel them. Bring them down to either side of the front foot. And then bring that front knee back to meet the back one. And once more, sink back, child's pose, forehead to the mat. Deep inhale, slow exhale. And then when you're ready, gently lift your head. Hard work is over. So we're gonna be seated for the next couple of poses. Just bring your legs out in front of you. No fancy transition to seated. And then if you can, bring the soles of your feet together. Knees are bent out to the sides. Just take a second and like flutter the knees up and down. And then bring them to stillness. And if you find this tough, you can do a couple things. You can take blocks or books if you have them, sort of put them underneath your thighs if they're not coming down. You can also bring the ankles out or the heels out further away from your groin. You can also take an omega pose where your feet are separated a little bit. So up to you, whichever variation you want. Whatever you've chosen to do, take a second and sit really tall. And then if you like, as you exhale, keeping a flat back, you can walk the fingertips forward and fold over those feet. And breathe. Careful not to round the back here. We only want to fold as far as we can keep our back straight. And if you want, as we start to wind down, you can start to exhale through your mouth rather than through your nose. It's a nice way to sort of wind the energy down. You can take longer exhales than inhales too. Also a nice way to relax. One more inhale. And then exhale, gently release. Stretch the legs out long in front of you. Flex the feet so that toes are pointing towards the ceiling. Stand really, sit really straight. Lift the arms up by your ears, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. And then exhale, fold forward, bringing those hands wherever they want to rest this evening, whether that be thighs or shins or feet or mat. And breathe. Good. Slow inhales. Slow exhales. One more deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently release. I want you to bring yourself all the way back down on your mat, back down. When you get there, bend the knees into your chest. Bring the arms out to a T. And then drop the knees over to the right. And head can look left. You can close your eyes here. This is our last pose before we move into our final rest for the evening. So really letting ourselves wind down from the work of our practice. On your next inhale, bring the head and knees back to center. And then exhale, knees fall to the left, head looks right. And on your next inhale, bring the knees and the head back center. Hug the knees in, maybe take one last little rock to massage out the low back. And then when you're ready, release all the way down. Bring the legs out long, toes splaying out to the sides. You stay lying, I'll sit up to cue for this one. So move your head from side to side until it finds that one perfect position you want to rest in. You have your hair up in an elastic and a ponytail, maybe take it out to get comfy. Then take a moment, kind of roll the shoulders underneath you so your shoulder blades snuggle underneath your back. And then take your two index fingers underneath you, right to the very top of your glutes, where your glutes meet your very low back. And just for 1 second, pick your hips up and then move those index fingers down towards your leg, like you're smoothing out that low back, and then gently set it down again. And then hands can rest at your sides, palms up. I find a really lovely rest pose to have one hand on my belly and one hand on my heart. part, so feel free to take that variation. We'll do sort of like a guided body scan for this rest pose. So feel free to tune me out and just take your own rest. Or listen and bring your attention to each part of the body as I name them. So first, go ahead and bring your awareness to your scalp, the crown of your head. Just allow your scalp and the crown of your head to relax. Bring the attention to your face, point between your eyebrows. Soften that. Unstick the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And bring your attention to your jaw and relax your jaw. So that mouth stays closed, but teeth are just slightly parted. Moving lower, bringing your awareness to your neck, back of the neck, the throat. And allow your neck to relax and release into the neck. Bringing your awareness to your shoulders, the tops of the shoulders, the backs of the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Just let that whole apparatus relax. Bring your awareness to the back body, all the parts of your body that are touching the mat. And allow the whole back of the body to relax and sink further into the mat. Bring your awareness to your chest, your collarbone. And allow them to relax. Bringing your awareness to your belly and your midsection. Let that belly go. Just let the whole belly relax. No tension. Moving your attention to your hips, the pelvis, your glutes. On your next exhale, see if you can invite those hips and glutes to relax. We hold so much tension. Bring your awareness to your upper arms, your biceps, your triceps. Invite them to relax. Move your awareness lower. Feel your forearms. Allow them to relax. Then bring your awareness to your hands, your wrists, the palm, the back of your hand, and each finger. And on your next exhale, feeling every part of your arms and hands just relaxing down into the mat. Now bringing your awareness to your upper legs, your hamstrings, your quads, your knees. Let them all let go. Relax their grip around the leg bones. Bringing your awareness to your lower legs, calves, the shins, the ankles. And as you bring your awareness there, see if you can consciously relax those muscles. And then finally bringing your awareness to your feet, your ankles, your Achilles, your heels, the sole of your feet, tops of your feet, and your toes. Feel each part in turn. Gently invite your feet to relax. And on your next exhale, I want you to picture a wave of relaxation traveling from your head all the way down to your feet, so that when that exhale finishes, the whole body just relaxes and sinks into the mat. And now in this state of relaxation that we've cultivated, we'll rest here for a moment. Knowing that the stillness at the end of our practice is just as important as the movement and the breath throughout our practice. That our final rest has a very important restorative character. Never taking this time for granted or shortchanging. Relaxing for a moment longer in this state of contentment you've created. With your next inhale, start to deepen the breath and bring life back into the body. Wiggle the fingers and the toes, circle the wrists and the ankles in one direction and the other. Stretch the arms long overhead, toes and arms stretch away from each other. And then still keeping your eyes closed, bend your knees so that your feet come to the earth. And gently roll over onto one side. Keeping your eyes closed, use your hands to push yourself up to a seated position. And when you arrive, bringing palms to touch in front of the heart, or both hands over the heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me this evening. Please bow the head, release the hands, and gently blink the eyes open and come on back. Awesome. Thank you all so much for practicing with me this evening. Our next class will be in 2 weeks' time, so I will see you again on the 18th. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend.